Hey there, everybody. I just want to say before I get into it that it's a massive privilege to be here and sharing my story as an Everton supporter. Special thank you to the Toffee Blues for asking me to share my experience and how I became a Blue. And some of you already know me from my work with the Falcon Blues, and thank you to them for allowing me to share my experience and match reviews as an international Blue. And let's get right into it then. So, I became a soccer fan due to FIFA primarily. And then in 2011, 2012, NBC started showing about every single PL match on the TV, or with just a regular subscription. You can watch the replay or watch any single one for free, no other cost. So I started playing FIFA, and then I saw that the PL was super accessible to watch. I was living with my parents at the time, so I could just watch it through their account, and I just started watching as many matches as possible. And when I played with FIFA, I just kind of played with anybody, the good teams, because of the EA bias, which I wasn't familiar with at the time, but is very, very apparent currently. So I just dabbled around, and then I found the PL was the league for me. And I'm from Minnesota. Most of you probably know Minneapolis due to the recent news here and the riots. But if you know anything about Minnesota sports, we don't win anything. We usually choke and cause a lot of heartbreak. So going into my search, I was like, oh, maybe I can pick a team that wins something. But I quickly realized that supporting a plastic club like City or Chelsea was not for me. So I started to look into the history of some bigger clubs, that hadn't had any recent success, and recent being last 10 years. And keep in mind, this is 2013, 2012. And I came across a few. I came across Newcastle, I came across Villa, came across Everton, Spurs, and I hate to say it, but Liverpool as well. And I watched one episode of Becoming Liverpool, which was some 30-minute doc or weekly series that they have, and it featured John Joe Shelby. And I thought to myself, who is this cretin? And then was like, nope, can't support Liverpool. And amongst other reasons, which I found out shortly after I watched that video, I looked into them a little more, realized nope, not the club for me. So then it was kind of between Spurs and Everton, and a big thing next was, after reading about the history and the success, was which Americans are playing abroad, because the 2010 World Cup was probably the first World Cup I truly watched like a lot of matches, and it was crazy. The U.S. versus Algeria, just some great matches all around. So I saw there were only, I think, three Americans playing abroad at the time, and it was Michael Bradley at Roma, Clint Dempsey at Spurs and Fulham. I forget which one he was at the time exactly, and then Tim Howard at Everton, obviously. So those clubs, I wasn't gonna root for Roma, but Spurs was in the mix. They had Gareth Bale at the time, who was electrifying, and I was interested in them. But then I actually did my homework, because it was between Everton and Spurs, and I realized, wait, Everton are the fourth biggest club in England. We have a rich history, one of the founding league members, in 1878. And then I just read, all about the 9 titles, the 5 FA Cups, everything. And then we haven't won anything since 95. And, that's very similar to Minnesota sports, where the last pro team in Minnesota to win was, other than the Lynx, which is the female basketball team, was the Twins in 91. So, and in 2009, the Vikings, which is the football team, had heartbreak, just like Everton had a heartbreak in the semis versus United. So, just little things like fate. But then I delved even deeper. I saw that Everton's entertained the People's Clubs, and they have over 40 charities now. I think it was like 32 at the time, but they have 40 charities now. They truly care about the city, the community. And there's a video on YouTube called "I Support Liverpool, but Everton Saved My Life." And that's something it doesn't matter who you support. It's about the city first, and I can truly get behind that, because Everton, I didn't know at the time, was Labor through and through, still is, and Minnesota, and I lean left. So that also just felt right, and the more I learned about it, the more it just felt it was the right fit for me. And I didn't want to be a glory hunter. I didn't want to support a club, just because they won, and whatnot. And when I found Everton, and everything clicked in the place. Not only Tim Howard, they have the most Americans that have played for any England club in the PL. Brian McBride, Joe Max Moore, Landon Donovan. Everyone speaks fondly about their time there. The whole Blue family, just everything felt right to me. And I was like, even if we don't win, even if Martinez, we're 2-0 up versus West Ham, and Martinez brings on Nias for his debut, and we lose 3-2, and I'm fuming. I still am proud of the club. And as we all say, if we had a tenth of the success on the field as we do off the field with all of our community work, we'd be, the most successful club in the world. So all of this, in 2013, when I was just turning 18, was like, I can support this club. And then I went off to university, and I started watching the matches religiously. I would watch every single match, even the midweek matches, because I could watch the replay. And I just started following. It just felt right. I was on Reddit. Shout out to Reddit, with the match threads and stuff, and I just fell more and more in love. And I started, buying the kits, buying the training gear. I currently have 9 kits, 3 training items, and a beanie, a mug, and a tattoo, which I'll get into. But my love just kept growing, and I started just soccer is my favorite sport by now. Footy, I should say, is my favorite sport. Before it was basketball, and then as I got through college, I decided I wanted a tattoo. And then on July 1st, 2017, so about 3 years in to my support, I got my first tattoo, and it was an Everton tattoo. So I made my love permanent and official. And it's funny because at first, my first year of supporting Everton was the Martinez, his first year. So we were flying. We finished 5th, and I was like, oh, we're on the up. We're back. And Everton that. And I don't have to tell anyone the history, because we all know our history. But it's just funny that even though that the results got worse and we were languishing in mid-table, oh, there goes that, whatever. Languishing mid-table, I just still grew to love them even more. And then I got this tattoo. And I started, and then I was like, I graduated college. I worked for a year, took some time off, and I decided I need to go to Goodison for the derby, or for a match. But I chose the derby because I had a lot of time. So I did a whole little 3-week Europe trip, culminating in a flight to Liverpool and seeing the derby. And I was a little nervous about how I'd be received, because I was a solo traveler, a non-white male. You see the beard, whatnot, whatever, and there's a stigma. And I've heard the stories of Indian Chelsea supporters going to Stamford Bridge and being racially abused, and all the other history of incidents with Chelsea and whatnot, just other clubs. And I was like, honestly a little worried about what would happen if that happened to me. But I get off the plane. It's from Lisbon to Liverpool. I'm the only non-UK passport holder. So I go to a separate line, and then I get asked, so why are you here? And the customs agent, I didn't know at the time, he was kind of a serious guy. I said, I'm here for the derby. And he goes, so who are you supporting? And I said, a Blue. And he said, oh, and then they were both Blues. And it was a perfect welcome. And then that was literally just the start of a perfect weekend in Liverpool, because I bought 1 drink the whole weekend I was there, and I was in the pub every day. And that was literally the first beer I drank, because as soon as I got in there, tall non-white male, they're like, what are you doing here? And what, and I knew a few people. I had arranged to meet up with a few people due to Twitter and Reddit, so it wasn't like I was just going in blind. But when I started just telling these local Scousers and these local Blues my story, it was never about I'm just a South Indian born in the U.S., now I support Everton. It was, we're all one big Blue family, and we all love the club, and I was one of them. And it really was nice. And now, 2 years on from that, because I was in 2018, dreadful derby. It was Sam Allardyce's 0-0 draw, but it just shows that I chose the right club. And the slogan is manufactured, or born not manufactured. And that's true. I'm the embodiment of our slogan, and so that's kind of my story. Now I've turned some of my friends into Blues. 3 of my friends this year bought the kit. I convinced them that this year was a quality kit, and not the home kit, the salmon colored one, and then the alternate, or the away kit. So slowly but surely I'm turning my friends into Blues, and we just grow one by one, because here in Minnesota, everyone's a Liverpool, Chelsea, or United fan, and the occasional City. But I've probably met 5 or 6 local Blues, other than when you go to this just on the street, other than when you go to the pub to watch the match. But when I do meet that Blue by chance, it's an instantaneous bond and an instant friendship because born not chosen. It's born not manufactured. We don't have to explain much. We were in it. We understand. We get Everton, like Tim Howard says. This is the best club in the world. You hear the players. I think it was Brian LeBone. I'd break any bone in my body for any club, but I'd die for Everton. And I'm just a supporter, but I love it so much, and I can't wait to come back. So yeah, thank you for letting me be a part of something so special, something that means a lot to me. Up the fucking Toffees.